So 10 to a Room is an original work, which means that we will create that and devise the work as we go along, although I have a dramatic structure and a plot line that I'm working to, which is this. There's a group of people that have arrived and built a society that they are fiercely proud of, a really home group full of interesting characters, and they defend their territory. They have a really cohesive, harmonic sense of who they are and what they're doing. And that takes the first act, like that's the first part of the show. In the middle of the night, as they keep watch, a stranger arrives, and a stranger like you can't recognize, totally different from them. And they start roaming around their land, like in their backyard, and then another, and another, and then another. And suddenly these strangers are arriving, they don't know one another, and the focus then starts to shift to the strangers as to how they might find a home and cohabit. So they're put in a room and they have to live there. And that evolves all sorts of interesting work. Some of it's really funny and some of it's really dramatic. And bit by bit, the home group become aware of the others. And there is a confrontation, there is a sense of invasion, and some of them are more empathetic with them than others, but their space is reduced. So the second, going into the third part of the show, is all about the interactions between the home group and these strangers that have arrived. And the show ends with a very restless, rich, surprising world where nothing is ever going to be like it was before. And it's very contemporary, it's quite, movement images are strong, it's quite physical in its work. There is text, but a lot of it is done through movement. So that's 10 to a Room. Physical theatre is a term that's used for all sorts of things. I've used it in this way to say that we don't have a script. We're developing the script. We do have a dramatical or dramaturgy. We're evolving it, so a lot of the work will be done through improvisation and through movement. But I'll guide that and I'll help people find the physical form. So you really don't need to have any strengths in movement at all for the production, but a willingness to express yourself physically is probably essential. So it's very contemporary in the sense that there might be film used, there's sculptural elements, there's movement. Some of it will feel like it's a sequence, like a dance. Physical theatre production. I don't know how better to describe it. We will evolve it. The audition is going to take place as a workshop, so I will run it like a class and I'll set up improvisational structures for people to do, and I'll watch how they work with one another and with me. And I may give every individual a couple of tasks just to see how they embody that idea and how they are moved by the ideas that I suggest to them. And it will be fun, it'll be a really theatrical movement class. And out of that, I'll have a good idea of who would be best in 10 to a Room. I've always made work ever since I was 20, so I've found the opportunity probably every 2 years. It takes time to sort of muse and bring all the strings together, but I've always created original works. Sometimes I do it in collaboration with architects or visual artists or musicians, or in this case with kids. And I love collaborative work, and I love the fact that we're taking ideas and issues that are preying on our minds and finding their form. Having said that, I've done a lot of theatre, like a lot of main stage theatre on classic texts, and I learn a lot from that. I just believe in Australia we need to be evolving work as well, so I will always make work. The actors need to want to work with me and in an improvisational way, so people with courage in their imaginations, people who are willing to play, got a good sense of humour, people willing to think and research and develop ideas, possibly people who are interested in writing. Some acting ability is obviously handy, some movement ability may be handy, but I'll also ask them, do they speak another language? Do they have any instrument that they can play? Do they sing? What other skills do they have? Are they great basketballers or dancers or whatever? Because that may well be used. Just people who are intrigued by the project and would like to be directed in a professional sense and create a work that they're proud of. All acting is physical. Even your voice is a physical thing. So unless you embody a text and unless you get behind why a character is saying what they're doing, what the scene is trying to achieve, unless you can really embody that, you'll never be able to act it. So even when I was teaching for 20 years at WAPA, the movement, the acting and the voice were an integrated program, so we were all working on intention and engagement physically. So it's a physical craft, and for those who think that acting is learning lines and just delivering it from your head up, may be heading for a radio career. Well, it's a good opportunity in that I've been working in the theatre for 30 years, and the next show I do is at Perth Theatre Company. So I bring a professional process and set of standards to the work. So if they want to have some sense of what it's like to be an actor, this project will be a good one. If they're thinking of auditioning for any of the major schools around the world, I've auditioned thousands upon thousands of people to get into WAPA, and I have a good idea of what they're looking for, so I think working alongside me would be a good idea. I think it's very good for people to do original work. I think it gives them confidence as a performer, a sense of themselves as an artist. It's not like a dramatic society that does a text in a set way. I'm not going to be blocking it tightly. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting project for people interested in drama and theatre. I decided, when I left school, I did a science degree and loved the aesthetics but didn't want to work in science. And then took myself off and started training in mime and toured schools, and then decided to train more seriously. So I went to Paris and I trained with some of the great teachers of the School of Lecoq and Yoshi Oida, a wonderful Japanese actor, and worked and performed in Paris and studied extensively there. Then I came back, I did a Feldenkrais practitioner certificate, which is really handy for the theatre, and did a master's as well. So by that time I was performing but realising that I was actually more skilled as a movement director and movement designer, and then went on to direct a lot of shows at WAPA and taught. And actually I find teaching just as creative as rehearsing, so Luckily, I really enjoyed it. Some of the shows that I've worked on come to mind, but actually when I really think about that question, it's the interaction with particular actors over the years. I've been really fortunate to work alongside some of the great theatre people in Australia, and I have trained many of the really great actors that are around. So when I have worked with them, sometimes an idea that we are working on together emerges into a fantastic form and an understanding, and we all get excited by that, and that drives me through the work. So I look back on actors I've worked with, and yeah, they're the highlights. Well, the theatre here is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's really well appointed. It's ideal. It's rare that a school should have such a good theatre, I think. But for work that you're creating, you want the best environment for it. You really want a respected space and good resources for great lighting. And so I'm really pleased to do it in this theatre, because I think it will launch the work beautifully. So yeah, it's a fabulous theatre, and it's as good as any that I know of. If you're thinking of auditioning for this, please do, because sometimes you may not feel that you've got the skills, or you may feel underconfident, but I may see something in you that would be fabulous in this show. So please give the audition a go. It's very hard to second guess what a director is looking for, and often I'm looking for a company that is diverse and interesting in all sorts of different ways. So if you're even slightly interested, come along and find out about it.